Augustus Caesar took the throne when he was only 19.
Clara Barton, founder of the American Red Cross, started her career when she was only 11 years old.
King Tut ruled Egypt when he was only 9.
So, what do these people have to do with us? I mean, they lived somewhere from 3,500 years ago to about 200 years ago. They don't have anything to do with us, or do they? See, we think they have something in common with us, something our team has in common with them. We've all decided to change the world while we're young, and we're not letting our age hinder us.
We are FIRST Robotics Competition Team 3132, otherwise known as the Thunder Down Under. We are the FIRST Robotics Competition team in Australia. FIRST, or for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology, was founded in 1989 by Segway inventor Dean Kamen and Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor Woody Flowers. They decided to start FIRST to create a varsity sport for the mind. Like a sporting event, FIRST competitions have high energy levels. The World Championship is a bit like the Olympics. But unlike any other sport in the world, FIRST Challenge changes every single year. It is the only amateur sport in the world where everyone is encouraged to go pro.
But FIRST and our vision is bigger than creating a nerdy sport. We see technology-based professionals as the future leaders of our world. It isn't the movie stars or the sports stars who are going to solve the food or water crises. Instead, it's the science, technology, engineering and math professionals.
The FIRST Robotics Competition started in Australia last year when my family moved from New Hampshire in the United States of America to Sydney, Australia. Before we moved, I had been involved in FIRST through the FIRST LEGO League program ever since I was 10 years old. For the past 2 years, I had also been involved in the FIRST Robotics Competition. My one condition for moving halfway around the world was we had to start Team 3132 since no FIRST Robotics Competition teams had been on the continent before.
And so, to show the world that we can change it, and to show you that you can change the world, we asked a film crew from Macquarie, shown here, to follow us around and record our progress. Well, we want you to change the world, and we're going to show you how we did.
There's not a sports hero on the face of our planet who's going to find a cure for AIDS. Movie stars are not going to figure out how to accommodate for the changes that global warming is going to wreak on our planet. The solutions to those problems are going to come from the engineers and scientists of this world. And I need to make sure the next generation is there to solve the problems, the next set of problems that my generation's unable to solve.
And international challenge! Are you excited for Wednesday's 2010 FIRST Championship Breakaway?
Soccer with a twist.
This is a really complex task. It's really tough. There's building the robot, technically difficult. Getting it to work reliably, technically difficult. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could go wrong.
What's supposed to happen? There's 56 of us on the team, I think, with about 20 coming every single day. They're crazy and against our mind.
They've got to get the whole thing integrated and working. So that's mechanical and electronics and the software part of that as well.
And it's not working again. It's in line with it.
No, it isn't. It's out by 5 millimeters.
You guys have some problems to sort out today.
We get to go to the USA and play with the robot, see if we made something that works.
Yeah, to make the breaking number 22.
Guys, you gotta get out there now!
What if you could just hit sports and entertainment that has content? What if at the end of the season they were a little better at thinking, solving problems, building solutions? What if at the end of the season you could give kids a sense of self-confidence about solving big, big issues?
Time is on the board! And 3, 2, 1,
Right. So, Let me explain how I got into FIRST. I got into FIRST when Sarah's dad, Mike Heimlich, came to my school and asked if we wanted to build a robot. I mean, that sounds like a great idea to me. Who doesn't want to build a robot? I could take over the world, or something along those lines. Never expected it to be so interesting, though.
One thing that I've gotten out of participating in this program is working in a team environment. We have had to design, build, and test a robot to have it ready to ship in 6 weeks. Without being able to rely on my teammates and sub-teams, this would be next to impossible. It's only when we come together we can complete a project of this magnitude. At the beginning of the 6 weeks, it was probably the first time since many of us have been in a co-ed environment. During the first few days, the girls were on one side of the room and the guys were on the other. It took us a while to become one group, but once we did, we were better off for it. Today, I hang around some of these people more than I do my friends from school.
During build season, I learned a lot of perseverance. Well, the start of the season was during the summer holidays, so most of us were showing up for more than 12 hours a day. We were a little obsessed, to tell you the truth. And then again, obsessed is a word by the dedicated used to... Obsessed is a word used by the lazy to describe the dedicated, so go out and get obsessed. I remember this one time I had to go out with this other student at 4 in the morning, take trains and buses halfway across Sydney so we could get 6 ball bearings. And the factory had 5 when they're supposed to stock millions.
The day before we had to have our robot done, it was around 10 o'clock and it wasn't finished. And at that point, I had my doubts. I didn't think we were going to be able to do this. I was coming down with a cold and just wasn't reasoning quite the way I should have been. When we walked away that night around midnight and the robot was done, it was an incredible feeling, one I know I will never forget.
I think it was the hard times like these that drew our team close together. Being the first team in our city, state, country, and even continent had many challenges. It was only when we overcame these problems that we were able to look back and see how it shaped and moulded us. And most importantly, taught us skills that will help us to change the world.
Well, when the robot moved for the first time, it was incredible. Something that had seemed impossible, we had just done. We had built a robot, and it was the FIRST Robotics Competition robot in Australia. In fact, I think you can see it moving now.
Once build season was over, we created Wombot Up and prepared to ship her halfway across the world to Manchester, New Hampshire in the United States of America.
Now that place sounds familiar, but I can't put my finger on why.
Yes, Sammy. New Hampshire, as I mentioned earlier, was the state that my family lived in before we moved to Australia.
We all expected New Hampshire to be cold and snowy, being one of Sarah and her family's favourite topics. And it certainly was, but what we didn't expect was for everyone there to be so helpful. Sarah's old team, Team Phoenix, helped us by giving us rooms in their houses for the nights, so we didn't have to pay hotel fees. They even had organised dinners for us, so we could save on food costs.
Other teams helped us get ready for the competition. Turns out shipping a robot halfway around the world causes a bit of damage. When we had things that we needed, we'd have several people coming up to us offering the use of their tools. They would give us electronics that we couldn't afford or things we just couldn't import into America. It was amazing how much they were willing to help us.
I knew going into the competition that this would be the true test of the team. Sure, we managed to build a robot in 6 weeks. Yes, despite many setbacks, we had still managed to do this. But I knew the competition would be the true test. Would our team be able to handle all this pressure, or would we just simply collapse underneath it?
Then there were the awards. At the first awards ceremony, we didn't really expect to win much. Sure, team after team came up. Eventually, we gave them the usual cheer and applause. Eventually, they came to the second and last award, the Volunteer of the Year award. They went on their usual cryptic spiel and kept going until it finally dawned on us. 2 of our mentors had won it. We were so excited to see our mentors' commitment to us and FIRST in Australia recognised.
At the final awards ceremony, also known as the closing ceremony, we were astonished to find we had won another 3 awards. Firstly, we had won the Rookie All-Star Award, which is the highest award that can be given to any rookie or first-year team. We also won the Safety Award, headed by our safety captain, Cheryl, who is here in the audience today. And Cheryl also won Safety Star of the Day on the first day of the competition for her efforts to make the competition safe for everyone.
Because we won... Because we won the Rookie All-Star Award, we were invited back to the International Championship in Atlanta, Georgia. There, our team was once again recognised for our safety program, headed by Cheryl. We also received an award for our team's website. In total, we won over 8 awards for our country, Australia.
FIRST has completely changed my life. I went into the program convinced I was going to become an engineer, but I've come out with a much broader perspective on the world. I'm now much more interested in pursuing a career in either public policy or statesmanship. I know I can make a real difference in the world in those roles, and I can help train the next generation of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics professionals.
First made me realize that engineers are the only ones who can change the world. They're the only ones who are going to make any change in the world. People like Ian Thorpe or Chuck Norris aren't going to solve the food and water crisis or cure cancer. And because I want to help change the world, I need to become an engineer. Now, our team isn't just about building a robot. It's about a lot more than that. We're actively involved in the community by holding camps and helping with the FIRST LEGO League program.
FIRST LEGO League is like our FIRST Robotics Competition, except instead of building robots out of metal like we do, they build them out of Lego. It's a really good program to get kids started to thinking about pursuing a career in science or technology when they're still young.
I volunteer a lot more now. Before, I would sometimes help with the barbecue at my dad's Rotary Club. Now I do at least 4 or 5 hours a week. Because of this, FIRST has helped me change more than my life. It has helped me to inspire the younger students, the next generation of Thunder Down Under members. I've just seen how a few hours of my time can impact so many lives.
We want to help promote the FIRST LEGO League so we can get kids into the FIRST Robotics Competition and into engineering in university and ultimately into those technology roles we so desperately need.
I love helping with the FIRST LEGO League program. I started helping last year when I volunteered for the state championship. This year I'm mentoring 4 teams and help many others get started. It is amazing to see how my mentors have done for me in the FIRST Robotics Competition can be translated into what I do for the FIRST LEGO League. It just puts things into perspective.
This story is more than one about a group of students who went to the US to compete in a robotics competition. For us, the robot is just a tool to inspire change in the world. This is a story about a group of students who learned how to change the world.